Real quick, just to cover the couple of injuries from yesterday. So Michael is going to get evaluated. I'll have something more for you guys on Thursday. And then Michael Carter. And then same thing with Aaron. He's dealing with a low ankle, but all the preliminary stuff says he'll be fine.
With both of those guys having the extra day because of the Monday night game, I'm sure that helps too, especially with Aaron, right?
For sure, it helps a lot.
What about Lecky? How close was he playing this week?
We wanted to get him another week. We talked about it, but felt like he needed at least another week. Not saying that this will be the week he comes up, but hopefully he progresses better.
Robert, I don't know if I'm on mute. Can you hear me? Thank you. Your offensive line obviously was the number one priority in the offseason here to fix it. And Aaron's taken a lot of hits and the run game's not going. Are you surprised by that? And why do you think it's gotten off to a slower start here than you probably expected when you invested all those resources?
Yeah, I felt like we'd been progressing. Obviously that Thursday night game against Tennessee, I thought we ran the ball well, protected well, all that good stuff. Thought we protected well first three games of the season, but I'm not discouraged. Obviously, I'm very disappointed with the way the last couple of weeks have gone, and something that we obviously need to get fixed.
Robert, there's a lot of criticism with the fact that your offense has not looked very dynamic and maybe not creative enough, that kind of thing. What are you seeing offensively in the bigger picture that's gone wrong here in the last couple of weeks?
The last couple of weeks we've taken a lot of negative plays. If you look at the first 3 weeks of the season, I felt like even our worst plays were picking up 1 or 2 yards, and we're staying ahead of the chains, getting ourselves in the 3rd and 5s and 3rd and manageables. But over the last couple of weeks, we've been living in 3rd and long, and it's led to a lack of efficiency.
Aaron mentioned after the game yesterday with regard to the running game that maybe he thinks you guys need to start setting up the run with the pass first a little bit. I don't know if you heard that, part of it, because I know you have been trying to establish the running game run first. But what's your thought on that?
Yeah, every game will take on its own different game plan, if you will. Obviously, it's always something that we'll talk to Aaron and the coordinators and just make sure that we're always doing what's best for the team in that particular week.
Robert, is there a concern about Reese and the slow start that he's gotten off to, and that it hasn't seemed to click so far? Yeah,
like I said, it's been disappointing the last couple of weeks. Brees is an all-around back in terms of touches in the backfield, along with the pass game, and we felt like through the first 3 weeks of the season we were getting that done. Obviously, the last 2 weeks, like I said, have been disappointing, but I'm not discouraged. We'll find a way to get back on track.
Robert, if I could go back to the offensive line, do you think it's a miscommunication? Because they played together most of the summer, which had been a problem here in the past. Do you think it's a communications thing? Do you think it's, like you said, living in 3rd and longs? Like, especially on the pass protection of Aaron while he's getting beat up here. What do you think is hampering the offensive line?
No, you know what? I don't want to take away credit from the last 2 opponents that we've played. 2 of the better defenses in football. They're 2 of the more dynamic blitzing teams in football. And the reality is if you throw the ball over 50 times like we did yesterday, the quarterback's going to get hit, period. And we didn't run the ball well enough yesterday, and we didn't, and we dropped back to pass way too often. And when you're sitting in longer situations, and teams can tee off on you, so it stockpiles on yourself, and so I don't want to sit and say the old line is just not playing well enough. We're not being efficient enough to put ourselves in position to play football. We're having to play catch up and. Against 2 really good defenses that pressure the quarterback at a high level, and we basically fell into the teeth of their defense.
Robert, even though you're coming off 2 consecutive losses here, obviously the division is very muddled. 5 games in, I know that there's a lot of people thinking that the sky's falling here a little bit, but is there any part, or what part of your message to the guys is the fact that you guys are actually in one game out of first place with a game against Buffalo coming up here?
Now, you know what? I said it last week. The NFL is built for chaos, and either the sky's falling or you've got Super Bowl aspirations. There's no in between anymore. And the reality is, what the standings look like now are going to be completely different at the end of the season. There's so much football to be played. There's so many things that we can get better at, and there's so many things that we can continue to build on. The things that we are doing well. So I'm not panicked. Nobody in the building's panicked. There's always a sense of urgency. That's the most important thing. There's always going to be a sense of urgency to go out there and find wins and find efficiency on offense and continue to play great defense and special teams. But Monday night's a great opportunity to play football and do our best and try to get the result that we're seeking.
How fortunate do you feel, just as a follow to that, with the way you played the last couple of weeks and the results, that you are still right there at this point and not in more of a hole?
I'll be honest. I think I look at it the other way. I think we're unfortunate. You'd love to be one of the teams. There's a bunch of teams. The NFL is so fickle. I'm not going to name other teams, but every game comes down to the last minute of football, and you're either making the kick to win the game, or you're completing a drive to win the game, or you're not, and or you're giving it up. One of the two. And we've been in position to go win, haven't gotten it done. We were in position to go win against Tennessee. We closed the door. So it's just one of those deals where the NFL is a little bit give and take. It'll balance out, and there's no doubt in my mind that we'll end up finishing off these games to the level that I expect us to, and we'll get this thing turned around.
A couple more, Coach. A couple more. Robert, just from a big picture offensive perspective, are you giving any consideration to having anybody else call the play?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I said, just from a big picture offensive standpoint, are you giving any consideration right now of having anyone else besides Nathaniel call the plays?
No.
Robert, Lazard has had an up and down year. He's made some catches. He's had some drops. Are those concerning to you at all? Just how it's been inconsistent for him?
Yeah, he's had a really good OTA, really good camp. I feel like he's had a really good start to the season. Obviously, yesterday there was a couple of plays that he'd want back. There was a couple of them that if he would have came down with it, they would have been fantastic catches. But definitely a couple that I'm sure he wants back. But haven't wavered on Allen. He's playing at a really good level. Everything about him is a lot better than it was a year ago, and he's been productive for us. So I'm not down on him at all.
Robert, what is your concern with Aaron? And I mean, obviously he just got back, but just in terms of how he really got banged up again yesterday. You have the extra day, so maybe that helps a little bit. But is there a concern, and how is he doing?
I talked with him last night. He's doing fine. Obviously, he's a little banged up, but he feels good.